Hey, good evening, everybody. This is Pat of Trophy Point Realty Group out of Savannah, Georgia, here to walk you through a little deal analysis. This is the nerd stuff that we do before we put a deal under contract. So I'm going to show you my screen. Here it is. So this is my spreadsheet. This is what we look at. So this is a lot. I really like spreadsheets. I enjoy making them. So yours doesn't have to be anywhere near this complicated as long as you get the same terms. When a lot of people look at a flip, all they're looking at is I buy it for this much, I put this much into rehabbing it, and I sell it for this much, and my profit is the difference. And that is not the case at all, because you're paying interest, you're paying, you're probably paying a realtor, you're paying insurance, taxes, utilities, all kinds of things. So we're going to break it down real smooth. Like this is 806 East 33rd. Savannah, Georgia. So this is where it is on the map right here. If you're not familiar with Savannah, basically this is the historic district. This is where the tourists hang out. This is the $1 million homes and all of that. Here's Forsyth Park. This is all really nice stuff. This is kind of a chic locals only district, Starland district. This part of town called the East Side is kind of on the up and up. A lot of investors are coming in, buying up distressed properties, rundown places, fixing them up, making them nice, selling them, renting them, whatever the deal is. I'm pretty bullish on this part of town. So I'm pumped to get this deal. Let's look at a little street view. So here she is. All right, this is our new deal. So this block is a lot of these craftsman style little bungalows. Ours kind of unfortunately has this closed-in porch. Now that does add square footage. Usually more square foot is better. I'm not so sure. Well, I like the porch better, but it's not in the budget. It costs a lot of money to redo the layout of the whole house, so we're just going to leave this as it is. Probably spruce it up, but let's not get in that too much right now. We're looking at the neighborhood. So this is a pretty decent street. This is honestly a decent little street. The thing about Savannah, if you're not from here, is this town is very block to block. And the character of the neighborhood can really change quickly. So it's important to really know, if you don't know the area, like it's not enough to just look at a street view. If you're an out-of-state investor, you got to have somebody who lives here who knows, what's going on, whether that be a business partner, an equity partner, or an agent, or whoever. So here's your property. What's the first thing we do? Well, the first thing that we do is, before we do all the work of filling out all the cells in the spreadsheet, we kind of take a quick look at the deal. In this case, I was told that I could get the deal for $98,000. Right? Actually, I was initially told the price was $125, and I worked a guy down. But let's start with $98,000. So $98,000 for this. This is a 2-bed, 1-bath, about 1,200 square feet. And I know just by all the business I do around here that a property like that, probably sells between 180 and 210, right? So let's go kind of in the middle, let's say $190,000 ARV. So it's going to be worth $190,000 when we sell it. That's where we start. Now we apply this thing called the 70% rule, which is what we use to quickly screen a deal. So we take basically that final number, 190, times 0.7, or 70%, gives us 133,000. So 133 is kind of what we want our all-in number to be. Then we got to think of what the rehab budget is. So, I said this guy first pitched the deal to me at 125. I said, well, if your number's 125, it's going to be pretty much turnkey. None of these houses ever are. Turnkey, by the way, if you don't know, means basically it's good to resell just the way it is. It's like a perfect house. So 133, usually the cheapest that you would do a cosmetic renovation on a house that big would be about 30 grand, right? So 133 minus 30 equals 103. Probably want to get it somewhere, 103,000 or cheaper. So that's why, if somebody pitches a deal like this to me and they say I want 98,000, I'm going to be instantly very interested because I know that I can probably make this guy work. So I want to check it out. I actually got my rehab budget closer to 40,000, right? So 40,000, 190 times 0.7, 133 minus 40 gives 93, right? 93 is closer to the number. But the cool thing about being a real estate agent, such as I am, means that I get to save a lot of money on commission selling the house. So I realize a little bit of efficiency. I can kind of take a deal that maybe somebody else can't. So, one thing that we've noticed lately is a lot of deals have been getting expensive. Margins have been getting thin. So if you don't have some sort of efficiency built in, it can be hard to do some deals. So me, I'm an agent, that's an efficiency. Other people are contractors themselves, that's an efficiency because they save a lot of money. So anyway, I like this deal. We put under contract. Here is a little bit of the analysis. Let's go through it. So I'm gonna focus on this video. We'll do a couple series. This one's gonna be more about ARV comps. So ARV means after rehab value. This is basically how we determine what we're gonna sell it for, right? So I have a spreadsheet here. It's pretty much already filled out. So this is the property, 810 East 33rd, 2 bed, 1 bath, 1254. All right. Right here is some data. I didn't fill it out. I use that for quick approximation. So we're going to focus on this table. Right here, here's where I have some comparable properties that I'm using. So the first one's 802 East 31st. Let's take a look at that comp. 802 East 31st. Which is Paulson. Yep, here it is. Okay. Oop, 1002. Got the wrong. Oh, we are starting. Yeah, whatever. We'll start with this one. This is actually the second comp, but we'll start here. 1002 East 31st. This is 2 bed, 1 bath, 1,035 square feet. Let's take a look at some pictures. All right, this is another kind of craftsman style, that porch you see there. This one's brick. Most of them aren't brick, so this is a little unique. These windows look like the older style single pane. But I mean, curb appeal's pretty decent, Good looking house, corner lot. Okay. Here's our backyard. I usually don't start right with the backyard pics, but this is a pretty good looking backyard. All right, here we go. Living room. We got some staging. Or maybe this is somebody's furniture. Nice looking floors. Nice looking fireplace there. Okay, yeah, this is a good looking house. I usually don't like the beige paint, but it looks good there. Here's our kitchen. Looks pretty good. I'm not a fan of the island. It's got linoleum this price point. Typically you want butcher block or stone, like a granite or marble, but it looks clean. Gas stove, small kitchen, but not bad. Bathroom looks good. Seems to be a little bit small. Good looking bath, good looking, it's a good looking house. Yep, okay, here's our backyard, looks pretty big. Alright, so that's our first comp. So how do we compare this to our property? How do we do a CMA is what it's called. So we're here, 1002 East 31st, 206,000 is what it sold for. It was a 2 bed, 1 bath. 1035 square feet. It comes out to a price per square foot of about $199. So the first thing we do is called a square foot adjustment. So our subject property, 810 East 33rd, we call that the subject property, is 1,254 square feet. This comparable property, or the comp, is only 1035, so we got to do a little adjustment. That adjustment ends up being $35,000, right? So basically what we're doing is when we do a CMA, you're either adding or subtracting from this comparable sale. So we're taking this $206,000, we're adding $35,000 to it. We're adding $35,000 because our subject property is larger, therefore more valuable than the comp. Anyway, lost my train of thought. Yeah, CMA, so square foot adjustment, so we're adding that $35,000, right? If this comparable property would have happened to be larger, then we would have to subtract instead of add. So that's what we do. So we have a square foot adjustment. So we take that 206, we add 35,000 to it, and we end up raising the value of the house. But we have some more adjustments to do. So first we have, I said, hey, comparable property is brick. It's got a nice porch. It's got more curb appeal, right? I mean, look at the difference between this property and this property, right? Even, we're going to spruce this up. We're going to make it look better, but it's not going to look that good. So a little adjustment, right? We subtracted $10,000. How do I know $10,000? I don't know, man. It's just what I think it is, right? This is always part science, part art. When you look at something like this, there's no way to really quantify. A house is not a stock, or a house is not a 100-unit multifamily property that you value just off the numbers. You value these things partly off the numbers and partly off how it feels. I don't know, hard to explain. So that's why, experience, you can make up for a lack of experience in certain ways, and even I'm not super experienced by any means. So 10,000 is what we did that. So yard. So the yard, why do I have a $12,000 adjustment for the yard? And that's a negative 12,000. That negative means that the comparable property, this one at 31st Street, right? That means that this property is better than this one. We have a negative adjustment. Why? Well, you can't see it from Google Earth, but this house here, the one that we're going to flip, has basically a garage, kind of like a carport with pavement. It's not like a nice backyard. It's paved. It would be great if you're a mechanic, but not if you like a backyard. So we've got an adjustment, right? There's nothing that we could do to make the backyard of this property look as good as the backyard of this property, right? This backyard, short of tearing out all that concrete, doing totally new landscaping. That costs a lot of money. It's just going to be cost prohibitive. It's not going to be worth it. And it's going to add a lot of time too, and time is money. So we're doing a $12,000 adjustment. Comparable property has, the comparable property kitchen is not as nice as a subject property. So we're going to have a nice kitchen. We're going to have butcher block. We're going to have subway tile, new appliances. It's going to be bigger. Our kitchen's going to be better. I'm adding 3,000 again. That's just kind of, a number. Comparable property is in a better area, right? This 31st Street, I just believe that block is a touch better. Generally, the closer to Anderson Street you are, the better. So I assigned 5,000 of that. Cool. All right, let's look at 802 East 31st. Where's this house at? That's this one. Go to East 31st. So this is a new construction. This one just got built. 1,200 square feet, 3-bed, 2-bath. Sold for $255. Was on the market for forever. Actually, showed this to 2 different clients, and I told them I thought it was overpriced. Somebody bought it. So this is a cool looking house. I mean, it's got curb appeal. It's a new construction too, so it's got a builder's warranty. Everything in there is modern. you don't have to worry about a lot of maintenance. Like, it's pretty cool. Good looking house. Yep, it's a new construction. Awesome. Carpenter bedrooms. What's that backyard? It's pretty decent. Okay. Awesome. So, part of the reason, and this comes with, living in Savannah and having shown this house to two different buyers, is, let's go down Paulson. Let's go to, here's 31st Street. So here's vacant lot. This is where those two houses were built. Look what's over here. This derelict, rundown commercial building here. All right, actually happen to know that there's some plans to renovate this within the next couple of years and make this a lot nicer. But it's not right now. So the view from your front porch over here is this nasty stuff. I mean, that costs money. It's hard to quantify. What is that worth? $10,000, $15,000? Who really knows, right? So our property's back here. It doesn't have that right in front of it, but you are going to drive past it to get there, so it kind of factors in a little bit. All right, so here we go. So 255, 1,200 square feet. It's about 50 square feet smaller, so we have a square foot adjustment, about 10,000. All right. You can see my formula up here. I'm not even going to get into it right now. All right. Comparable property was new construction. I assigned a value of $25,000. That's just what I feel like it's worth. $25,000. What is it worth to you having a new construction house? It's actually worth a lot because of the maintenance that goes into an old house. Even a renovated house is going to have more maintenance than new construction. New construction has a builder's warranty. It's always a better layout. All right, this new construction has an extra bed, 15 grand. I usually throw 15 grand at an extra bed. An extra bed is worth more. Like going from 1 bedroom to 2 bedroom, hell, it's probably worth 40,000. Going from 2 to 3, 15. 3 to 4 is worth a little bit less. Going from 4 to 5 is worth even less still. So, because you think about the utility, if you go from 1 bed to 2 bed, you're doubling your beds. 2 beds to 3 beds, 3 beds to 4 beds, that number goes down. Extra bath, 8,000. Curb appeal of the comparative property is better, 15,000. Right, I think I used the same. Actually, I used a little. So you see how I have a $15,000 curb appeal adjustment here versus 10,000 on that brick house. Well, the new construction house looks even better than the brick house, hence a larger adjustment. Comparative property has a decent yard, but not as nice as that first one we looked at. The brick house had a really nice big yard, right? So you see how these adjustments are a little different each time. Here we go, comparative property near a condemned property. I give that a $10,000, and that's $10,000 plus. So we are adjusting the price up now because of that, because the property that we're going to flip, 810 East 33rd, is surrounded by pretty decent looking properties. Awesome. All right, 733 East Waldberg. This is an interesting property. I'm really pumped how much this property sold for. So this property, our subject property is right over here, right about here, and this property on Waldberg is right here, right? So it's across Henry and Anderson. Usually I won't use a property that far away as a comp in Savannah. You can get away with that in the suburbs where all the houses are the same. In Savannah, you can't. But the reason I pulled this comp is because the character of this block is very similar to the character of this block. So this is a cool house. When this one listed, it listed for $240,000. I thought they were nuts. I said they're never going to get this much money. Well, they got $230,000. Very surprising to me. It took them you know, over 3 months to do it, but they got it. But this is a really cool house. I mean, look at it, it just looks, I mean, that's a good looking house. Hardwood floors, French doors. I mean, this is a cool house. With our kitchen, we got subway tile to the ceiling all around. Steel vent hood. These things look so good. That cost them like $250, by the way. It was super cheap. The farmhouse sink. I mean, this thing's got it all. Look at. I mean, this is a lot of fucking subway tile. It's a good looking kitchen. And butcher block too. Butcher block. It looks so good. It's cheaper than granite. You know, if I'm I think I might never do granite again, unless it's in a really high price point. I think butcher block looks good as hell. Yeah, so good looking spot. Bathroom looks great. Look at that tub. Come on. Highlighting. This is a $250 vent hood. They're highlighting it, but it looks good. I mean, nobody knows how much this shit costs unless you flip houses. This is new HVAC. Yard, big yard, not landscape, not that good looking. Still looks better than the concrete. It's going to be our yard. It is what it is. All right, so 32,000 square feet. So if we go back to the spreadsheet, plugged it in, 230 grand, 32,000 square feet. We have a huge square foot adjustment. We're adjusting $46,000, right, for a difference of 250 square feet. So that's a lot. So we have our other adjustments. We got our curb appeal, 15 grand. Honestly, I feel like that should be like 18 grand. That's a good looking house. That great kitchen, 6 grand, right? Our kitchen, it's not going to be that good. It's going to be good. It's not going to be that good. Be the 6,000. Hell, let's give it 8,000. New HVAC, 3,000. So the HVAC that we have is not that old. An HVAC to do a swap out on a house this size is like 4 to 5 grand. So I'm putting 3 grand at that. Compared to property, slightly better yard. 3,000. Current property has an extra bed, again 15,000, extra bath, 8,000. Right, so that takes. This is a cool example, right? So this one sold for 230,000. It was 1,000 square feet, 250 feet smaller, right? So we had that adjustment. We added 46,000, but all of these other ones we took away from that. We end up with 221,000 is the adjusted sale price. Hopefully you're starting to catch on to how we do these comparable sale analysis. So we took a property that sold for 230,000. It was 250 square feet smaller, and by the time I made all these adjustments, I said, hey, this property, when you make it like an apples to apples comparison to our subject property, would lead us to believe that our subject property, looking at just this property alone, is worth $221,000. That's kind of the difference that curb appeal and an extra bedroom, like bedrooms are huge, curb appeal is huge, kitchens, all that. So 705 East Duffy was the last one to look at. I'm going to look at least 3 properties when you do this. Of course, the more you do, the better, but 4 is perfectly fine. So this one on Duffy sold not too long ago. We're totally in the wrong. Here we go. This is it. Come on. 705 East Duffy. 2 beds, 1 bath. So it's good. I wanted to pull another 2-bedroom comp. 832 square feet. It's a lot smaller. It's a curb appeal, and this is just vinyl siding. This curb appeal is not great. It's still better than ours. Ours doesn't have a lot. Alright, this is like a standard house. LVP floors. This is the vinyl plank. Gray walls. I mean, this is a standard, very standard flip. It's got granite countertops. I wouldn't have done granite, but whatever. Nice backsplash. It's a good looking house. Separate laundry. There's a little bathroom. Oh, yeah, looks good. Okay. Backyard looks big. Better backyard than ours. Wish I could show you. I should have got a picture of that backyard. Okay. So we got a feel for that one. Here we go. We plug it in. So 164,000. 2-bed, 1-bath. 832 square feet. Price per square foot of $197. So we do that adjustment. We'll add 55 grand. All right. 55 grand at the price. We do some other adjustments. I said the comparable property was in a better area. I like Duffy. It's a good street. Curb appeal, not as big as an adjustment as some of the other ones. You know, that one on Wahlberg was an $18,000 adjustment. This one's only $6,000. Right? Why? Because the Wahlberg house looked great. This house looks like just another regular ass house. Then we had a yard adjustment. Right? So that comes out to $199. So if we average everything out, all right, this is our rehab value outputs. All right, so if we average everything out, we get a CMA of $211,000. $211,000. So what I did, you see my opinion here, $190,000. Anytime you see a blue cell, that means that it's something that I'm filling out myself. Right, so I filled out 190. Why did I take 20 grand off this? Right, why go through all the trouble of doing this analysis just to take 20 grand off, and just to I basically just threw it away. I was like, all right, I did all this work, I did all this research, but screw it, because I'm right and it's wrong. Well, first of all, we want to be conservative in our assumptions. So, you know, a conservative assumption is, my light's running out here. It's getting very dark, so I'm gonna plug this thing in. A conservative assumption, you know, is basically when we're looking at any deal, you kind of wanna make sure you're gonna make money. I mean, that's important. So you give yourself, you know, in the engineering world we call it a factor of safety. And that factor of safety basically says, hey, you know, just in case I screw this thing up, which I could, I'm building in a little safety zone, just in case. Sorry guys, here. Can't stop the show. There we go. All right. So you're building in a little cushion, a little buffer. The other reason why is you kind of get an intuition, you know, once you do a certain amount of deals, that no matter what the numbers are telling you, they just don't feel right. So we're going to use $190,000 when we do all the underwriting of this deal. Now, bear in mind, when I go to list it, I'm probably going to list it at $199. Typically, when it goes to listing a property for sale, you don't really want to shoot for the stars, especially if you're a flipper. If you're a flipper, the name of the game is doing the work quickly, listing it quickly, selling it quickly, so you can get your cash back and you can do another deal. It's about volume. If you list too high, you end up stagnating that listing, and that's not good to do. So I'm definitely I'm not going to list this thing for $220,000, you know, for sure. 210 maybe. You know, one of the things that I always do is I do my underwriting, right, but I don't lock myself in, because the markets change. Somebody could list a house next door for 230,000, right? And that's going to change the calculus, right? So we're sticking with 190. I'm probably going to list it at 199. That'd be great if I get it, but 190. All right, 190. That's how we do a comparable sales analysis. So the next one, we'll go over rehab budgets. We'll talk about soft costs, right, including your taxes and appraisals and lender fees and all that stuff. But for right now, the part of the spreadsheets that we filled out, $98,000 purchase price, right? And we know that our ARV is going to be 190,000. We'll take a look at the rest after we get some pictures of the property. Take care.